Grand Peace Online has been releasing event updates since early on in the game's release. The first event update was the Christmas event, however this event was relatively small when compared to the events that followed it. The original Christmas event took place on a small sky island connected to Skypiea. There was one boss and a few smaller NPCs, and there were only 4 drops added in the update, which is far fewer than what had been added in most of the more recent event updates. Now that I've established the history of event updates, or a brief history in GPO and where it all began, I'm going to move on to discussing the actual topic for today's video. Does the GPO community even want event updates? As event updates got more complex, the time it took for them to release grew longer. The devs have become far more ambitious, and we went from the fairly minimal initial Christmas update to the more recent Halloween update, which featured 2 whole bosses and a fairly complex boss summoning system that isn't seen anywhere else in the main game, and then 2 new weapons that were equally as complex, and a series of other collectible drops. Not to mention an island with the size and complexity of most actual islands within the main game, and even a whole new zone, this demonscape where everything was dark and the water kills you. All this sort of stuff. While the rare collectible items remain, eventually the island itself will be removed, and this can be a little bit dissatisfying. I can't help but wonder, what if that time had been spent adding a more constant feature, or a feature that would last longer, like an actual island or boss that wouldn't just disappear in a few months. However, let me make it very clear, I personally don't want event updates to be removed completely. But I don't think they should be as frequent, or they should take up crucial development time away from the actual main updates, and we currently get around 3 event updates a year: Valentine's, Halloween, and Christmas, and I think Valentine's Day could be replaced by a much smaller update that wouldn't lead to actual updates being delayed even further. Obviously there is one drawback to this idea. Event updates have become so fundamental to areas of the game like the trading economy and arena mode that without them, these areas might not be sustained. Although, in my opinion, this argument simply takes away from the real solution. Actual updates should fulfill these roles, and they actually do for the most part, especially in the context of supplying players with new weapons for arena mode and new items too. Obviously they fall short on collectibles, but realistically, who needs them? Besides, actual non-event updates tend to add well thought out content that the community is actually asking for. I mean, realistically, most of the major things that we add to the game that actually improve the experience for everyone have come in actual updates and not event updates. Very few people have been asking for a new Valentine's Day outfit or a boss. They want meaningful updates, like a Tory rework or new fighting styles and fruits. That's not to say the GPO community doesn't like these updates, but I feel like it can be a little bit frustrating when you've been asking for an actual genuine change and lasting content, and then you get slapped in the face with an event update that'll be gone in a couple of months anyway, and will just flood the in-game economy with overpriced collectibles. I mean, realistically, do we need a third candy cane? Do we need all these new items that are purely based almost entirely on the rarity? We want some actual value to our items. Bring back main updates with actual real items that people want. Here is a question for you guys that are watching. If you could choose right now to have either the Valentine's Day event update or have update 5 had released 3 months earlier, which would you choose? Personally, I'd be down to skip the event entirely in favor of more focus on changing the game to create lasting and fun content. That's not to say the devs shouldn't add event specific stuff, but it doesn't have to be a fully fledged update with all this extra stuff. I mean, small changes and perhaps a few quests would be plenty. Hell, I would even be okay with them just adding one event specific fruit and maybe a weapon if that meant we would get actual meaningful updates sooner. Before I end this video, I do want to share one other perspective. This is something the devs have been saying a lot recently, and that is, it's okay, we can work on both updates simultaneously. And if this is truly the case, then keep doing both. But if it really means we can work on both, but it will lead to unnecessary delays, then I think it might be time to focus on the actual game and put aside the event updates for a little bit. Anyway, this is where I'm going to end the video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. And as always, I hope you guys have a great day, evening, or time, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.